I'm Madison, 59 years old. A few years ago, with my husband's 60th birthday just around the corner, he passed away before me, and I felt like I lost my zest for life. But then something happened I couldn't ignore. Just the other day, a baby was born to my second son, Matthew. Although the baby was full of life, Zoe, his wife, was not in the best of health. As a result, the baby was discharged from the hospital before her. With Matthew being a first-time parent and obviously overwhelmed, I was urgently called upon for assistance, working alongside Zoe's parents, who came to help during their breaks from work, and in between visiting Zoe in the hospital and babysitting, something I hadn't done in decades. I was kept on my toes. But with all the hustle and bustle and the sheer cuteness of my grandchild, I felt revitalized. And when Zoe finally returned home, recovering but still weak, I ended up living with Matthew and his family for a while. Zoe, who had always been kind to me, often expressed her gratitude for my help with the baby. Seeing her still not in full health, I didn't feel right about leaving her to fend for herself. Those days were hectic, but in a heartwarming way. But then, an unexpected twist came my way. It was about my eldest son, David's marriage. At 36, David was still single and seemed to lack commitment, which was a constant worry for me. So, hearing he was getting married was a pleasant surprise. However, the woman David introduced, Ariana, was much younger than him, which caught me off guard. She had a refined appearance and left a good first impression on our initial meeting. But to my surprise, she brought her parents along for the introduction. Thinking she would be coming alone, I was in a flurry, wondering what snacks to serve at my home, which I had returned to after a long while. Suddenly, Ariana's mother, Bella, gave a snort. "This place looks a bit messy, doesn't it? I'm worried about my precious daughter marrying into this." With a deep wrinkle forming between her eyebrows, she looked displeased. "Oh, I'm sorry for the mess," I replied. "I've been at Matthew's place helping with their newborn, so I haven't been here in a while." Though I hadn't intended it as an excuse, Bella's frown deepened. "You let your younger son get married before your eldest, and while you're helping out with the younger son's child, you've left your eldest son to his own devices." Excuse me. I was puzzled as I didn't understand the meaning of her words. The idea of a set order in which my sons should marry had never crossed my mind. "Oh dear," she sighed, "this is concerning. Ariana, are you sure you want to go through with this?" "Well, I'm expecting a baby," Ariana blurted out. I was left dumbfounded. I was already taken aback by the sudden marriage to a much younger woman, but a baby on the way was even more of a shock. Although I had perceived Ariana as a well-bred young lady, this revelation proved otherwise. Oblivious to my shock, Bella continued with a displeased look on her face. "Oh, David, you really are a handful. It's a shotgun wedding. And with our only daughter too. We're going to be rushed with the preparations for the wedding." "What? A wedding ceremony?" This was news to me. "You better make sure no one can tell you're pregnant during the ceremony," she warned her daughter. Amidst all the surprises, Bella and her daughter swiftly proceeded with the plans with David, leaving me struggling to keep up. "By the way," Bella suddenly asked, "you'll be covering the wedding expenses, right?" It took me a while to realize she was addressing me. "What do you mean?" Taken aback by the unexpected request, Bella gave me another annoyed look. "Look, you're the ones who hastily took our precious daughter from us. Your son got involved with a much younger girl and is responsible for her pregnancy. We're the victims here, so the least you can do is cover the expenses for the wedding." "Oh, Grandma, I've managed to book the venue, and everything's arranged. Just cover the expenses, okay?" I was struck by Bella's logic, but I was even more shocked when Ariana called me Grandma. "Wait a minute. What do you mean by victim? And why did you call me Grandma? I'm David's mother." Having just been addressed as Grandma, I corrected Ariana, puzzled by her words. She burst into giggles, seeming to find the situation hilarious. "You know what? David looks so old, so it's just fitting for his parent to be called Grandma, right? All I'm asking for now is to cover the wedding expenses. Also, please prepare for the initial costs of the new apartment they're moving into. I'll contact you soon. And just so you know, I'm not letting my daughter live in such an old and run-down house." "What?" Completely taken aback and at a loss for words, Ariana and her child hurriedly left before I could react. 1 month later. From now on, please don't contact us unless it's about a major life event, okay? Shortly after forcing us to pay for wedding expenses and preparation for a new home, Bella spoke angrily. What? Overwhelmed by the suddenness, I tried to understand her. But Bella, already frustrated, lashed out. My mother-in-law gave me a tough time with our differences. I won't let my daughter go through the same thing. Don't you get it? I understand your concerns, but can't we discuss things properly? It's always so sudden. I tried to calmly discuss the matter, but it seemed to only annoy Bella more. Ugh, after all I've been through with my mother-in-law, now I have to deal with you. I've had enough of these complications. No unnecessary contact, got it? Bella emphasized her point with strong determination. Okay, understood. Feeling overwhelmed, all I could do was nod in agreement. I never imagined being the type to cause issues as a mother-in-law. I always felt I had a good relationship with Matthew's wife, Zoe too. Even if Oriana, who called my son old man and me grandma, played a role in my floundering son's decision to marry, I thought it would be good for us to get along, especially since they're expecting a baby. But recalling my intense first impression of Bella, my optimism waned. I doubted I could ever be on good terms with someone like her. I guess it's unfortunate, but maybe it's time for me to let go. I reassured myself. 2 months later. Hello, David. The nursing home just called. My father-in-law's condition is critical. I'm heading there now. Zoe's looking after the baby who's running a fever, but Matthew's leaving work early. Can you make it? My son's grandfather, who was my father-in-law, had been in assisted living for quite some time due to his age. After receiving the alarming news, I immediately called to relay the message, but the response was unexpected. It's not David. Didn't I tell you not to contact us anymore? Don't you remember? Goriana, where's David? Please tell him about his grandfather. I told you, we don't need the updates. Can't you remember, Grandma? Even though it's no time for jokes, Ariana doesn't seem to care at all. You know, it's not like we're inheriting anything, right? Just to be clear, only contact us for events that benefit us. Maybe you didn't get the memo, did you? Though. Before I forget, our baby's arriving soon. Just wire the gift money and mail the other presents. Bye. With that, she hung up. I was left utterly speechless. In the end, Matthew and I bid farewell to my father-in-law and handled all the funeral proceedings with him and his family. As days passed and I had time to reflect, I realized I'd been swallowing all the disrespect and demands. I couldn't take it anymore. It was time to let go. Then I decided to discard unnecessary feelings from my heart. Then, a little while later, a phone call came in, dripping with irritation. Hey, Grandma, where's our gift money? We haven't received any presents either. Are you ignoring the birth of your grandchild? Hello, can't you say something properly? Or are your ears failing you because you're so old? Look, we have a baby. Got it. Hurry up and wire the gift money. From the other end of the phone, I could hear Ariana shouting loudly. Instead of responding, I let out a big sigh. What? Hello? Are you even listening? My hearing isn't what it used to be, you know. After all, I am a grandmother. I can't hear impolite voices, I tell you. What? Grandma, what are you thinking? Ariana was saying something, but I hung up the phone on her. She called back immediately, but I didn't answer. After a series of persistent calls, they eventually stopped by the next day. I wonder if she's given up. All right, let's go for our daily walk. I placed my adorable grandchild in the stroller and went for our usual stroll. Hey kitty, what's that? I don't want those little birds that you always bring. Where did you find this? During our walk, the kitty, which occasionally visits Matthew's backyard, dropped a wallet it had in its mouth right by my feet. I've got to hand this over to the local precinct. Pushing the stroller, I decided to change our walking route to the local police station. So, I received this. I told Matthew and Zoe the story once we got back home. When I handed in the wallet to the police, the owner came right away. He offered a reward, but I declined since it was the cat that found it. Then, he gave me this. Well, finding a wallet and then getting a lottery ticket as a reward. That's something. They both said, laughing and listening to the story. If you win, you'd be like a modern-day rags to riches tale. Well, I doubt such fairy tale-like events happen, but it's fun to dream, isn't it? A few weeks later, holding her smartphone, Bella and her daughter Ariana came. On the screen was the previous day's online news. Excuse me. Why didn't you tell us about this? You weren't planning to keep this a secret, were you? I let out a sigh, responding through the intercom. There's nothing to hide. I simply followed your wishes to not contact you. What? We told you to let us know if there's anything beneficial for us. Seriously, so like a granny. Now, open the door. Have some manners. I'm not just anyone, let us in. They were both shouting. Please leave, you're causing a disturbance. If you continue this, I'll have to call the police. What did you say? Bella, in her anger, swung her purse and cracked the intercom's camera. Definitely calling the cops now. Zoe, while soothing the baby, called the police. Hey. I'm family, not a suspicious person. Move. Despite the officer's warnings, the two were defiant and almost got physical. No way, I don't want to deal with the police. Seeing their continuous resistance, I reluctantly went outside. I have video footage of you damaging the intercom. Best calm down. Bella, her face now bright red with anger, started shouting. What are you talking about? Didn't you win big with that lottery ticket you got as a thank you for returning a lost wallet? I read in the paper that you shared half with the wallet's owner, but you still must have a ton left. As the wife of your eldest son, we have a right to some of that. That's right, Grandma. I gave you a grandchild, but there were no gifts or celebrations. You owe us for that too. I was taken aback by their audacity. You've got the wrong idea. I already have a lovely grandchild. We've given the proper gifts and celebrations. I'm sorry, but being an old woman, I can't comprehend what you're trying to say. It's just my age, you know. Damn you. Well, winning the lottery is rare, and they say fortune is best shared. Here you go. I handed Belle an envelope. Hey, hand it over already. What's this? It looks flimsy, but inside is a check. I smiled at the two who tried to snatch it away from me. I've thought about how to split it, and I've come up with a good method. We decided based on the number of times you talked to me with a smile. The only time you both smiled at me was at the wedding, and that one public greeting. So, the math was easy. What? That's it. This is like giving candy to kids. Isn't it enough? You've got to be kidding me. Bella swung her purse in rage, eventually hitting a cop, and in the end, both were taken away for obstructing public duties. Served them right. A few days later, without learning their lesson, Bella and her daughter came over. Even though I heard they got a real earful at the police station a few days prior, they seemed not to have learned anything. Good grief. The place was cleared out. Hearing that outburst, I realized what was going on. My previous house. I sold it to a city development company. That's right. Just before I won the lottery, I was asked by a company to sell, and I had let go of the house. Matthew and Zoe said they'd always live with me, so I made up my mind. Houses that aren't lived in go to ruin. Just like you said when we first met. Thanks for the advice. It helped me lighten my load. What? You're too greedy with the lottery money and the house sale. We were thinking of at least getting the house if you didn't give us the lottery money, but what the hell? You're flaunting your windfall, aren't you? Think about us too, old lady. Always favoring Matthew. It's so unfair. We get nothing. I really don't understand what they're saying. Take care of your daughter-in-law and grandkids. David is your eldest son, isn't he? There's an order to things. I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity. Did you both forget what you said? Didn't you tell me not to contact you? I have that recorded. I'm just keeping my promise. Is there a problem? That doesn't matter. It matters a lot. Like you said earlier. Take care of your daughter-in-law and grandkids. There's an order to things. That's right. I value those who treat me as a person and share laughter with me the most. I prioritize based on my own values. Naturally, you both are out of the picture. Grr. Oh, while we're at it, I've organized my assets, all distributed according to that order. And you too, who are out of the loop. Naturally, not a penny for you. But that should be fine, right? The wedding cost had an additional fee, and I even paid extra for the new house and the moving expenses. Just be grateful I'm not asking for it back. Shut up, you miser. Please, cut us some slack, Grandma. I've always fought this, Bella. Don't you know how to speak to your elders? Such a shameful upbringing. Gwa. Goriana, how many times do I have to say it? I'm not your grandma. But don't worry, I won't be in touch anymore. Everything's just like your initial demand, right? Enjoy. You've got to be kidding me. Madison, the police have arrived. As I vented, Zoe informed me that the police she called had arrived. After the property damage the other day, there's a huge commotion today. The two who were already recognized were taken away without mercy. I'm so sorry for all the trouble. I apologized to the police officer, who replied with a smile, "It's our job. We're always causing trouble for the cops." Zoe looked remorseful, so I reassured her, "It's okay." I wanted to give a part of my lottery winnings as a thank you, but they said they couldn't accept it, so I donated a patrol car. I hope it's comfortable. And of course, I'm planning to visit them and formally express my gratitude soon. Don't worry. Then, along with Matthew and Zoe, sat down for a normal family dinner. A few days later, Bella and her daughter were ordered to compensate for the damages, including the broken intercom. With another stern reprimanding, they haven't approached our house since. They're said to be feeling down about losing sight of the bigger picture for short-term gains. I decided to buy a new house to live with my son Matthew and his family. It seems like happy days are ahead.